month, the first day of the 8th month of the year 2018. Yes, on the stable here, the entire Daybreak Show crew wishes you a fulfilled August 2018. Yes, Dele Ayodo is my name. Once again, I welcome you to the Citizens Forum on the Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM. Well, the defection gale going on around the country obviously will have its own effect. It will have its own implications on our governance, government, polity, structure, and of course, individuals, groups who are interested in politicking, and even those of you, like I will always say, who are not politicians, but whatever these people do will have effect because they are the one who sets it. They are the one who set the policy, they are the one who implements it, they are the one in most occasions who direct where and what we will be doing for the day. That is why it's important that we do not just stay aloof, like Balage will say, sit down, they look. No, don't sit down, they look. Let's get involved and ensure that we do it the way it should be done. Yes, we're beginning to see that effect of the defections in Kano, in Benue, Imo. It will soon emerge in Kwara. Of course, it has emerged. The APC national body has dissolved the ESCO of the state, and for sure, they are bound to fight. In Sokoto, it will also erupt very soon, and some other states where the new PDP or reformed APC, as they call themselves, have decided to go back to their tents. Yes, some people say that's actually where they came from and they're returning to base. These are the effects, the consequences of those things. Beyond this, well, you may want to say there's nothing wrong in impeachment or impeaching whoever you want to impeach, but there are constitutional provisions. Therefore, everything is wrong if those constitutional provisions are not followed. Should we just say, because you tackle me, I will double you, because you decided to separate the marriage abruptly, then I will not let you go and marry another person. These are just my own inspirations. They may not be apt, but these are the thinking of some Nigerians when you look at the implications and the effects of the defection that swept the governing APC. It's not over yet. There will be more defections. One of the senators also told us that people will also cross from the other side to the APC. And for sure, each time that is done, there is always a consequence. That's what we'll be trying to look at this morning. How does it affect you? Why and how should it be done? I'm sure quickly some of you will remember same situation in Plateau when 6 was the number that impeached Joshua Darie. In Bayelsa, Mesega suffered the same fate. In Oyo,
happening. So many developments in our political space, alignment, realignment. A lot of people will say this is expected, especially when the election is just around the corner. There is nothing new. Some people will say, is it true that there is nothing new? And a very genuine question Dele asked earlier, how does that benefit you? What do you stand to benefit from many of these defections, alignment, change of guard, change of station by politicians, and the gimmicks and game that they're actually playing, especially as it stands to desecrate the chambers, either in Benue State or what is happening in Kano or what is also happening in Imo State, where a deputy governor has been impeached and the court has actually halted that particular impeachment. So these are a lot of things which some will say endangers our democracy, but some will definitely tell you that it doesn't endanger it, it only strengthens our democracy.
All right, at that point, I think I like that, Tobi. Let's introduce our guest, a lawyer, former chairman, Nigerian Bar Association, member of the House, a parliamentarian, Mr. Patrick Iwu. Morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, listeners.
Let's start from Tobi's last statement. I'm sure I've been following it. Does it actually matter to our democracy? Does it endanger it or strengthen our democracy?
Well,
of the stories you are hearing?
it depends on how you look at it. It's just like when you have fire. You ask if it's dangerous or if it's. But then without fire, you can cook your meal. And at the same time, if you're not careful, fire will burn down all you spent all your life to save. So in a way, if it's handled properly, it will help the democracy. If it's not properly handled, it will endanger it.
Now, when you talk about handling it properly, how do you mean?
What I mean is, yes, if you look, there's freedom. Particularly, I always operate on this philosophy that every individual has to go to hell in his or her own fashion. Yes, you have the right, you can do whatever it is, but it has to be within the ambit of the law. And, well, if you look at the gale of defection, if you look at the gale of impeachment, if you look at everything, you discover it's all is for just for personal gains of the principal actors and not for their constituents or for the Nigerians.
Well, you say personal gain, but the reality, the truth is that these are some of the elements, characteristics of democracy, particularly for a growing one like our country. The constitution has not barred them, forbid them from moving. So if they move, whether it's for personal gain of anything, is a rightful move, isn't
But
it?
the thing is, the constitution bars some people, okay? Like senators, House of Assembly members, House of Rep. The constitution specifically says once you defect from a party that elected you into that, you just have to vacate.
Oh,
That's it.
then why do we've lost count of the number of those who have defected in all the legislative arm of
Is
government.
it,
None of them
yes, there's a
have.
proviso though. Yes, provided there is no division in that party and there is no, what do you call it now, merger. Okay. Now, if those things are done, but the problem is who will build the cat? Who challenges those things?
Apart from this, excuse me, that's why people have criticized the 1999 constitution as amended or whatever because of the many lacunas created there. If you say give a proviso that you can't decamp provided there are factions or issues in your party. How do you define that? How do you identify that? Because the reformed APC says there's a faction, there's a problem in APC. The main APC or the other APC says there's nothing like that. So how do we really draw the line and identify?
It's not for you, it's not for me. That's why the courts are there. That's why the courts are there. The courts are meant to interpret that provision of the constitution. Because the word the constitution uses, if there is a division, you now ask yourself, whatever is happening in APC right now, is there a division in APC? Or the fact that some people, a faction now says, okay, we are leaving. Was there a division before they decided to leave? Or they created one so as to enable them to leave? It's for the courts.
Well, we also have the other side of this problem, the parliamentary immunity given for issues in the chamber that cannot be challenged. So these are also issues used for this maneuvering.
Yes, I agree with you that whatever happens within the parliament is for the parliament alone. Just like the issue of impeachment, no court can intervene. Like the constitution says, you know, you can impeach for misconduct. Okay. Now the state assembly in Ogun State can even wake, or let me use Imo State where I come from. The Imo State House of can wake up and now say the molding of sculptures in Owerri and elsewhere is a misconduct, and upon which we would impeach the governor. Beautiful. Misconduct is whatever they say is misconduct.
It's misconduct.
The court will not interfere. But the thing is, the procedure you now follow, did it align with what the law says? That's where the now court will now come in. Okay, and if you look at all this, like what happened in the other time when Alamesia were impeached by how many people, up to today, Alamesia's impeachment is the worst impeachment in the history of this country. In fact, as we are speaking right now, the result of the panel setup was not even yes, before that impeachment was done. We now saw what happened in Oyo State. That the court now started setting these things aside one after another. And what did PDP do? PDP went, mobilized themselves, mobilized the Senate, this thing. They now amended the constitution. They now said, Court of Appeal, we can't trust you any longer. That's the problem.
Let's just stay within the chamber. Now, impeachment of the speakers.
Yes.
Or the, what do they call it? The officers, presiding officers of the chamber. Like you said, these are supposed to be parliamentary issues that happen within the walls of the thing. So, does that mean, for instance, in Benue State, where there are about 23 members of the House of Representatives, so does that mean 6 can go ahead if they succeed and impeach the speaker?
It does not mean so. What it means is that if the speaker is impeached by the minority, it's left for the speaker to approach the court. The House of the judiciary of Benue State now. Is this thing proper? It's for the court to say it's proper or it's not proper. Whatever we say outside is just our own opinion.
Okay, now let us look at the motives for this impeachment. You just said the Constitution has given an open check to legislature to impeach the governor. Misconduct can be anything.
Yes.
Misconduct can even be inviting you refuse to come.
In fact,
or attend
building several bridges, flyovers in the city can be a misconduct, an impeachable misconduct, if the House so says so.
Okay, that's now with this bogus, phony reasons that can be given. Then is it not right for, say, the party leadership now to wade in so that you can avoid this crisis?
Good. You know one thing. The thing is, you talked of party leadership. The first question you would have to ask yourself and answer is: do we actually have a party, a political party in the first place? I've always said it elsewhere. If I think even on this program, PDP, APC, or whatever, these things are not political parties, so to say. And that's why you see, it's easy somebody waking up telling you I'm PDP this morning, by tomorrow morning he will tell you he has defected. Before the day runs out, he's informed you he's back to. So understand? The thing is, what is the ideology? And that is why people who are ideology based don't just jump from parties to parties. People like the likes of Bola Tinubu, for goodness sake, he's not my own person. I don't like him as a person, but as a politician, you can't see him jumping. He had every reason to jump when his party was down. But what did he do? He mobilized forces, reclaimed all these things APC is enjoying. And all these people now is cause of him. If he had defected like others, I tell you, we wouldn't have been having the situation we have right now.
Let's look at the legal and political implications of the defection of the nation's number 3, the President of the National Assembly, the President of the Senate. What will be the legal implications? Because obviously, if they reconvene, there are bound to be issues about it. Can he maintain that seat? Can he be impeached by the people, or should he maintain that seat, or should he be impeached?
It is not a legal issue per se. It's only a constitutional issue as affects his movement. Is it proper? Is it valid? Is it constitutional? Now, was there a division in APC as the party under which he platformed? But then you discover that most of these things don't even boil down on legal or constitution. It is political. Now, you ask yourself again, how did he get to that seat in the first place? We all know the circumstances. Now, you see them, the so-called reformed APC grumbling that they have been marginalized. Saraki would not have been president of the Senate were he not for APC. Being membership of APC. Even though, yes, he waggled his way one way or the other. Okay, but then he still would not have been
if he was not a member
of APC. A member of APC. Now, we've had the story, I think, unfolded yesterday that the High Commissioner to South Africa resigned and now decamped. Now, and yet they had the effrontery to tell the whole nation that they were being surcharged. Surcharged for what? You now ask yourself, what is the real reason for these defections? Now, like Oshomole will say, yes, because the central bank has been locked. And this other place, NMDC has been locked.
Let us leave that for them.
It's part of it.
Again, we are let's still be
Okay.
let's continue to look at the constitutional area. So we'll go into the political issues. I know there are politics. There is politics involved for sure. Now, another problem because you talk of people not challenging this in the law court.
Yes.
And all these things, but the court will talk, or the constitution, or you lawyers will talk about local standing.
Yes.
Before you can say you want to make it. In the case of the Senate president, can somebody like me challenge it? I'm not a member of his constituent, but he's the president of the National Assembly.
You don't have that locus. I must say it. But then there are several other people that have locus. What are they doing? You see, the thing is, we shy away from some of these things.
Oh, sorry. When you say several people, does it have to be people in his party?
Of course.
Or non-politicians?
The APC is there. They can take up the challenge. Yes, you were elected on our platform. Now you have left us vacate that seat.
That reminds me. This defection didn't start now. It has been happening.
Yes.
And usually it happens shortly before the general elections. So people have said it is about getting tickets. But do you think the parties themselves have the moral right to approach the courts to seek such an injunction for a lawmaker to vacate that seat if they have also benefited from such?
That is the question. Because he who goes to equity must go with clean hands. The parties themselves, their hands are not clean. So they enjoy this when it benefits them, and then so that's why most times you don't see them shouting. Because you see, the thing is, one, there is no party. There is no discipline in any party in Nigeria today. But you see, we only what happened in France when Emmanuel Macron came from nowhere to win against all odds. Now, what happened after that was some other politicians wanted to defect into Macron's party. What did the party say? The party said, no, you do not fit into our philosophy. That is what some of the parties here ought to be doing, but none of them does that. Why? Because none of the parties even have any philosophy. What is the philosophy of PDP? PDP ought to be a conservative. But are they conservative? What is the philosophy of APC? APC ought to be more like a radical. But are they? A situation where somebody, Saraki, PDP will wake up, join APC today. What is even the politicians? Do they even have any philosophy? Of course they do, which is sumac infrastructure. That's a problem.
Now that takes me to this issue. For sure, the APC and other political parties has what they call legal advisors, who are lawyers, who are supposed to be guiding them maybe in issues like this. The country also has a Minister of Justice who is expected to be a member of the political party or appointed by the political party in government. When we have issues like this, what should they be doing?
Now, you see, yes, they are there to advise. One thing is giving an advice, and another thing is taking that advice. That is one. And number two, you discover that in a situation like this, everybody thinks one way. Nobody thinks the other way. That is the problem. And that is why those legal advisors ought to be in a position to advise. But then where everybody is like a rat race, everybody is chasing the same thing. So who advise the other? And in any case, the problem in this part of the world is not knowing what to do. The problem is having that political will to do what needs to be done.
But I will not let us look at the defection of the Senate President, Bukola Saraki. He announced his defection yesterday. If you recall, when he was elected by a simple majority, not two-thirds of the House, because more than 50 senators were not even in the chamber when he was elected. But the Constitution states that he can only be impeached by two-thirds majority. I want your thoughts on that.
Which part of the Constitution? No.
Okay, if that is true.
No, it's not true.
Now, if that is not true,
it's only about the governors. That impeachment has to do.
Toward this,
Yes, it's the governor, it's the executive. I'm not the.
So if the Senate president were to be impeached, how?
They can wake up one morning, even if it is 11 over 10, can get him out.
A simple majority,
Simple majority,
of
yes.
the quorum in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, ordinarily, now that he has defected, and the Senate is on recess, what provision of the Constitution can be relied upon to reconvene the House if the APC wants to say, hey, you are now in the party with a minority, you cannot continue to hold that position?
It is not a question of reconvening the Senate now. It's a question of approaching a court of law, invoking section 68(1)(g) of the Constitution. Now that you have defected, you get an injunction to ban him from continuing. The moment they approach the court, believe you me, within 24 hours they will reconvene the Senate. If the APC leadership should approach the court of law in Abuja now to get an order, now that you have stayed out, you are no longer the Senate president of the Senate. Believe you me, within 24 hours they will reconvene the Senate.
Well, Lawyer Iwu, with all this open to everybody, the Constitution is open to anybody to read and interpret, and people knowing this, that we have this and this is the implication. What do you think is the problem? Why people are not activating and using this for the advantage of the majority of Nigerians?
I think the problem is that is always that Nigerian factor. Okay, we always want to look at, well, it's okay, they will tell you this is a family problem, let us see how we'll go around it. And in any case, they are also afraid because whatever they do might even turn around to catch them. So that's why that's the way I look at it. That's why they shy away from some of these things. Otherwise, it's a very easy thing. Go to court, and they know once you go to court and the court pronounces on this, you can't any longer. I think it's for political expediency. They try to avoid some of this.
So that it won't catch up with them.
It will catch up with them later.
Okay. Now, Lawyer, there are some Nigerians who will say all these gale of these stories are not new. We've been there before from 1999 to today. No story is actually new today. And then some people will say, wait a minute, yes, they are not new, but it just means our democracy or our governance is retrogressing, not progressing. Some people say no. It's like the statement from advice that it only deepens our democracy, that people now have the choice and now know what to do to wriggle out of when they're in a political mess. Which of these do you think is correct? Are we retrogressing, or are we just blowing so that we can now see what colors we are made of, really?
Well, it depends on what side of the divide you are. If you are in support of those defecting, you say yes, it's strengthening the democracy. If you are in the camp of those against, you say yes, it's bringing it backwards. But the truth is, this is the time for the Nigerian people to express themselves through their vote, so that if you have an elected member that abandons the party upon which he is elected and now coming back to you to seek for re-election under a different banner, is for you to express yourself through your PVC and say, no, these things can't happen. But of course, you know that these things are manipulated.